find out just a little bit about yourself and what you hope to get from counseling.
Um, Thanks for having me. I guess I just want to like feel less anxious in class and, talk to people more easily.
Okay, that makes sense. And first of all, congratulations. I know in the intake you were talking about experiencing a lot of social anxiety. So I want to congratulate you on you coming into counseling because I realize this can kind of be very difficult sitting with another person and having a conversation. So, in some way, we're already kind of practicing counseling that you're trying something that's really hard. And I do understand that. So, thank you for being here.
Um, Thanks. Like, I appreciate that. It's, kind of tough for me to even be here, but I'm trying to work on it.
Yeah, we're gonna use that courage of yours. I'm not so sure I would have had that courage at your age. And also, congratulations on going to college. I know that that's a hard and sometimes really expensive endeavor. So I do look forward over the course of our sessions to find out more about what your dreams and goals are. And as we mentioned in the intake prior to this session, if I'm an older white male born and raised in the South of the United States, and we may see the world very differently. So I want to continue to build our professional relationship, and if there's anything about yourself, your family, your community that would be really helpful for us in our work together, please let me know. I do intend at the end of each session just really briefly to check in to make sure that we're working well together, and if there's anything that I need to do more or less of, that we can just kind of take care of that.
Um, I appreciate that. It's nice to know you're open to understanding my background and everything. My family's like really focused on academics and pressure can get a bit much sometimes. So, yeah, I think talking about this stuff will help me. Thanks for being um, thoughtful about it.
Okay, good. And yeah, I hear that the family pressure of going to college, and you maybe wanting to make sure that you're representing them well and so forth. That really can add to our stress level. Maybe if we can start to talk about when did you first start experiencing anxiety, and particularly social anxiety? If you can just give me a little bit of history of that.
I guess it started back in high school. Like, I always got super nervous when I had to present or even just answer questions in class. I remember feeling my heart race and all that. It made me avoid raising my hand. And then it just kind of carried over to college. Everything feels bigger now.
Yeah, uh, you're bringing me back to my day here, Miguel, and I certainly do remember that. I want you to know just that this is something I have experienced as well, and so I feel it. I understand how uncomfortable that can be. I also want you. Hopefully, you can look to me and be like, "Oh wow, with some proper practice and techniques, and maybe even age, things get a little easier." I don't know if that helps, but I just want you to know. And again, just the fact that you're sitting here with me, I know cannot be easy, and I want to laud you for the courage of being here. Now, I know I just said a lot, but I also want to ask what kind of things have helped you, even just a little bit, feel less nervous when you're participating or interacting socially?
Um, Sometimes I listen to music before class. Like, it helps me calm down just a bit. Also, there was this one time I practiced a response in front of the mirror. It felt kind of silly, but I think it helped. Just makes things feel a little more manageable. If I could keep doing stuff like that, maybe it'd get easier.
Yeah, it's sounding like you already know a couple good skills that help you, and we're looking incrementally. So you mentioned music. Clearly, music is helpful for us in a lot of ways. And then actually practicing in front of a mirror, yes, because we get to hear our voice, we get to see ourselves, which is very awkward. And I think it's a little bit like practicing a sport. It's really awkward at first, but when we practice and we move into different stages or maybe the game, we feel a little bit better. And I do think practice in front of a mirror is one of those things that really helps. And I'm going to go out and just say that that's one thing that I use that I found helpful. So I think ultimately you've got a couple good skills. And yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
Um, yeah, I guess those tricks help a little. It's nice to hear you've tried them too, you know? Like, just knowing I'm not alone in this helps. I think if I keep practicing and maybe combine some of these skills, it could make things feel a bit less intense, but there still feels like a long way to go.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to professionally partner with you on this journey as somebody who understands this topic. And so I think we can move forward. You mentioned something or alluded to it that a lot of times progressing, particularly with social anxiety, is going to be incremental. And what I mean by that, it's going to be small steps. You can be like, oh, this helps a little bit. And when I add this, it helps a little bit more. And when I add these two things, then it makes me want to practice more. And the actually putting yourself out there and practicing it, feeling awkward, feeling nervous, shaky voice, sweating, and all that, that requires such courage. So I want you to remember these will be small steps, but it also requires, and you've got this already. You wouldn't be sitting here with me, the strength to move forward. And I can guarantee you it's not going to be terribly long. I don't know where you're going to feel more and more comfortable with it. So let's look at what are, I guess, first of all, it would be helpful because anxiety and social anxiety can kind of come from all different sources. Is first of all, maybe looking at what you want to major in, and is this something that really resonates with you, or are you doing it for other purposes, so that we can get a feel? Because sometimes we can get really anxious when we're pursuing a career or field that's really not a good match for us. So I'm kind of just wanting to find out more about your major and what you're kind of thinking about for your future.
I'm majoring in biology and I think it's interesting, but like sometimes I feel pressured to go into pre-med because, the whole family thing. Honestly, I'm not sure if that's what I really want to do. It feels kind of heavy thinking about a future that might not even be right for me. So, yeah, I guess I'm still figuring that part out.
Yeah, okay. This makes a lot of sense, and that you want to honor your family and your community, and if they're kind of encouraging you to move into this field, that can be a lot of pressure. So we want to make sure that we're talking about that, and maybe it may be helpful in the future to take some career interest inventories just to see where what lights you up. And in the meantime, also, I want to maybe talk about some other coping skills that we might be able to use to help you alleviate some of the anxiety you're experiencing, or at least reduce. How does that sound?
Um, yeah, that sounds good. I'm open to trying more coping skills for sure. Maybe things like breathing exercises. I've heard that can help when you're feeling all panicked, or um, visualization, like picturing myself in a calm space before class. It could be worth a shot. I just hope it doesn't feel too forced or anything.
Yeah, yeah. I think breathing techniques we can work on those. Visualization, absolutely, and you're kind of doing that a little bit in the moment with the mirror, speaking to the mirror exercises. Another skill I'm going to encourage you to think about as we're building these resources is also developing a little bit more what we'd call cognitive flexibility and just being okay with sounding or looking awkward. The more that we can kind of realize, hey, everybody's got kind of their issues and their quirks and idiosyncrasies, we can start to let go a little bit of that fear, particularly that social fear. So, on one hand, build resources, and the other hand, starting to maybe find ways that we can just let go of kind of our need to feel and look completely confident all the time.
That makes sense. I guess like just being okay with looking a little awkward could help, you know? It's hard to think everyone's judging all the time. But if I can remind myself we all have quirks, maybe it'd ease things a bit. I'm down to try some of that cognitive flexibility stuff. Just need to take small steps, I suppose. Would be nice to feel less pressure.
Nice, nice. I want to say, just kind of in the moment here, working with you, I appreciate how first of all, it's nice to talk to you, and I can tell that you're taking this in and absorbing it, and you're giving me good information. So I just want you to know, from particularly with social anxiety, I feel like this for me is a productive conversation. So you definitely have the skills. Um, and I also want to, and this is not from a judgment standpoint, but I want you to pay attention if you're in classes or whatever and observing people. I think you're going to, if you pay attention, you're going to notice that a lot of us have kind of our issues. You are not alone in this. And I'm hoping that that will help with this other side of anxiety, of starting to let go of some of the expectations that may be causing, or at least somewhat causing or adding to the fear responses.
Um, Thanks for saying that. It's nice to hear that this is productive. I'll definitely try to pay attention in class and see how others handle things. Maybe, um, if I realize everyone has their stuff going on too, it could help me feel a little more normal. I just gotta remind myself that perfection isn't the goal, you know? Just getting through and being okay is enough for now.
Nice. All right, Miguel, I'm going to end this call just as this example, and thank you for helping us out here. Okay, so as I end the conversation, then it's going to generate feedback, but it takes a while to load. So I'm not going to sit here for that. Maybe I'll post part two and show you what the feedback, but it immediately give me a transcript. It would tell me things that I did well. It's probably going to not like that I was disclosing personally, but I was doing that from a theoretical standpoint of maybe person centered and existential, of being genuine to help normalize. So, anyway, thank you.